To go.
Yes, Saham, Sohan, we are good to go.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear friends around the world. I welcome you all to our new event for new member orientation program that's conducted by our District 20 Toastmasters. I am Toastmaster Suhan Abdul Manaf, your Sergeant at Arms. As a Sergeant at Arms, it's my duty to tell you the ground rules. Number 1, kindly keep your audio muted and your video off whenever required. Whenever you're called upon, then you can switch on the video, and also you can unmute yourself in order to avoid disturbances around us. In case of nature's call or any emergency, you can silently mute the button, switch off the video, and also you can go to the places wherever you know in your respective homes. In case if you're outside of your houses, I would really request all of you to take care of yourself because of the present situation that we need to wear the masks and also keep ourselves safe wherever we are. And now let us remind ourselves that why are we here in the Toastmasters Club? The mission of the Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And also, we are part of District 20, which mission is that we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. With that, I declare the meeting room as open, and now I would like to give the stage to our beautiful MC, my sister, DTM Siham Muhammad. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my dear TM Sohan, Sergeant at Arms, for today. Good evening, everyone, our dignitaries. I see our BQD. CGD is not there, right?
Good evening, DTM Siham.
Oh, good evening. Our CGD, DTM Khalid Jalal, DTM Khalid Abdullah. I know that our DD is not here yet. And I don't actually see other area directors. If I'm not seeing, anyway, for all the dignitaries that are in the house, I welcome you all, our members, beloved one, and the one whom we are making this program actually especially for them. Good evening, everyone, and welcome you to our event today. You have DTM Siham Muhammad as your MC. But as a matter of fact, I'm not only the MC. I am the event chair, the MC, and the Vision H director. So instead of saying welcome only one time, I will say welcome you all and good evening to you all 3 times. So now let us start by explaining what is, or in my point of view, of course, what is NMOP, or New members orientation program. For me, it's like the way or the plan or the road that we can go forward in order to see how to do, what to do in Toastmaster. We are going to explain more about it, but let us first listen to our dignitaries that are in the house who are going to give us or addressing us in this event. And before I am going to introduce them. I would prefer our timer, TM Faris Hassan, to explain the time, please. TM Farisa.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And thank you, MC. For the role for the timer for today, I will introduce the timings for our first speaker, that is Toastmaster Dona. She will have 45 minutes. And
sorry, Farisa, no. I'm talking about the dignitaries that limit of time.
Oh,
the address,
for the dignitaries. For the dignitaries, we have 2 minutes of time for each dignitaries to
address the audience, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm having some issues with my camera. Okay, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
For the timings for the dignitaries to address, it's 2 minutes for each of the dignitaries, whoever addressed the participants today here.
Thank you so much. So let us start with the first dignitary in the house. He is someone who has taken up multiple roles and responsibilities over the year as a Toastmaster. From being the IP Club Growth Director for District 20, currently serving as a president of Active Minds Toastmasters Club. He is IPP of Bahrain Advanced Toastmasters Club, and now he is the District 20 Program Quality Director. His purpose in life is to be a good role model for his kids. So I believe that you all know him. He is so known by his beautiful smile, by the way. And let us all put our hands together and welcome DTM Khalid Abdullah. Mike is yours, please.
Thank you so much. 3-in-1, Master of Ceremonies, Division H Director, and of course the event chair for today's event, CGD, DTM Khalid Jalal. All of the, I can see Division D Director, DDD in here. I can see our, of course, District Moderator as well in here, District Webmaster, DTM. I know, Faisal, you're not a DTM, but I like to say DTM.
Yes.
And, and all of the members of District 20 and guests. Good evening to all of you. 1 minute is gone from my time. New members orientation program. Why are we focusing on that? Many of the clubs in District 20 and beyond would have their own orientation for their new members. So why do we need to have one more new members orientation program for the district? I receive such questions from many of members, of course, when I say new members orientation program. Of course, many would do that, but I'm a member of 6 clubs, and I can tell you, out of experience, not all of the clubs would conduct new members orientation program. New members orientation program is more than just introducing the ABC of Toastmasters. It's a culture that we need to build, and especially the culture grow from our new members. The jargons that we exchange in District 20, or even as Toastmasters, we need to have consistency. So that's why we are conducting this event for the 2nd time this term, and there would be as well one more time in the next year, inshallah. So it is very important we care for you, new members, and not just new members. This is a good reminder as well for all of the members in District 20 and beyond. So thank you so much for all of the great 3 speakers. My time is up. The great 3 speakers who joined us here today. And thank you so much for the organizing committee. And on top of it, of course, the master of ceremony, the chairperson, and Division H director. Thank you so much, DTM Siham, and over to you.
Thank you so much, DTM Khalid Abdullah, for your inspiring words. Actually, I agree totally with you that it's really not only for the new members of the district, it's for everyone, because some of us maybe missed that wonderful program before. And by the way, when you say that I have 3-in-1, I always remember Nescafe 3-in-1 because I really like it. So let's move on to our next dignitary. And his passion, I believe, from his introduction is how to serve members in the clubs as well. He said about himself that he is a leader with long-term vision, and his actions talk louder than his words. He said he is shy and speaks less, but words and contributes the most. So, as a matter of fact, he believes that everyone on earth should be a Toastmaster. I agree with him. He did a lot for the members and for the clubs. Maybe this is because this is his role for this year. And he revived 6 clubs, charted 10, and dreaming of finishing 20. He is dreaming of charting 20 clubs. Do you believe it? We are trying to make 1 or 2. So really hats off for him to do that. Also, he has supported a lot of members in District 20, and he was supportive for 30 Toastmasters to get their DTMs. The list is so long, so I can't say it all because it will take more than 10 minutes. But let us all welcome our dear CGD DTM Khalid Jalal.
We can't hear you, Brother Khalid.
Yeah. Timer should start time right from now. Thank you very much, our MC and the Division Director, DTM Siham Muhammad, all the dignitaries in this room, our PQD, Khalid Abdullah, my mentor, Distinguished Toastmaster Farhaz Farouk. He's a person, by the way, I have stolen a lot of ideas when I used to prepare my speech in the initial days. I can see DTM Suresh Babu. I can see our colleague Hoor. She's just hiding behind the camera, but she's still visible. Shiraz, I think he's from my team member, if not a new member. A 4 times champion in DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, 4 times Ananda Murali. And everyone else was behind the camera, I cannot see. A very good evening to you all. I will be very short to all the new members, those who are here for the first time. Trust me, this program is very important for you all. Not for you all, but also for senior people who think they're senior. It's important because every time we learn something new in this program.
Looks like Richard.
And if you can mute someone, so don't take it from my time, please. Thank you very much.
How about you 2 flavors? That's a good enough.
I have a stopwatch. I'm going to stop my time. Thank you very much. And the second most important thing is the trainer. Distinguished Toastmaster Farhaz Farouk is one of the trainer. If he's a trainer, trust me, you will get not 100, but 1,000 ideas. Because if a person like him who taught me how to prepare my speech, he can teach you wonders in this particular program. So I wish everyone all the best and enjoy the program. Thank you, and back to you for MC. I'm on time, by the way.
Thank you so much, our CGD. You are on time. This is true. Thank you so much for your inspiring words. And yes, we are waiting for the TM as well as TM Donna, as well as DTM Nancy. I know that you are going all to enjoy today's event, inshallah. Before I proceed, I would like to really thank all. Now I am the division director that should address the audience, all right? So now I'm wearing the hat of the division director. As you know that this program or this event is helping new members to feel less anxious or not to be worried, to learn how to overcome their difficulties. You know, it's like a torch or a light that can guide you through your journey. This is one of the most important program for new members and for the old one also, to learn how to support and guide new members in Toastmasters. So let's proceed as MC and talk about the segments in our event today. We have 3 segments. The first segment is gonna be led by a very professional speaker. Second, it will be also by a DTAG champion in more than one category, evaluation and table topics. Third session is gonna be also by a champion of DTAG and a very funny person. Yes, you will enjoy. His humorous is built in. Then we are going to have 15 minutes of question and answer. Of course, in this session, anyone has a question is going to raise their hand in order to take the questions in order. So let us now start our first workshop. Our first workshop is going to be led by attorney at law, lecturer, broadcast at Renmarker podcast, success trainer. Frankly speaking, when I talked to her, it was the first time, but I touched her beautiful soul. I did something and I thought that she will be upset, or she will be, we are humans, so the name was written in a missing letter. So I thought that she will be angry or something. She said, oh no, don't worry, it's okay. This happens. So I really thank her so much. Without knowing her, she was a very decent person. But before we go to our first keynote speaker for today, let us ask our timer to explain the time, please. TM Farisa Ahsan, over to you. TM Farisa.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't able to unmute myself.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Thank you, MC. And for our first keynote speaker, Toastmaster Dona, the timings are going to be 45 minutes. I'm going to display the green at 35 minutes and yellow at 40 minutes and red at 45 minutes.
Thank you so much, our timer for today. And now let us all welcome with a very big round of applause, TM Dona Balasuriya. Welcome you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
DTM Sahim, should I start or should I wait for your introduction?
Of course you will.
Sorry, I interrupted.
You can start, but I was going to say that We are so thankful for you to come from Sri Lanka with us today, and also to give us such a wonderful workshop by the title, Your Speaking Voice. So over to you, ma'am, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, DTM Seham. Of course, I was very much excited to speak to all of you. So I straight away jumped in, and thank you for the very kind introduction. And I'm absolutely privileged and honored to be delivering this keynote to all of you. And I really do hope I would add some value for your valuable time this evening. And with that, let me share my screen. Now, before I start my presentation, I usually ask this question. Now, today's presentation is about Keynote, is about your speaking voice. Why do you think the voice is important? So we have 55 participants in this meeting. So I would like to know your opinion. Why do you think your voice is important? If you can unmute yourself, you can speak out. Thank you very much, Aiboan. This is very, very sweet of you, Anandata. If you can,
Toastmaster Dona, they cannot unmute. I will just whenever you want, just let me know so I can let them unmute their own self. Otherwise, they can share their in the chat box, or they can raise hands.
Sure. So maybe for the time being, we can allow the chat box. Why do you think the voice is important? I would love to hear your answers.
They're all unmute now. They can unmute themselves and they can engage.
Okay, brilliant.
It's important to be heard because that's the only way you can communicate and pass across your ideas and thoughts and whatever you want to say. Because without that, you'll not be able to communicate.
Absolutely. Can I know your good name, please?
But you need to be very careful with DTM Farhaz, Farouk.
Oh, yes,
I agree.
absolutely.
I agree.
The
Thank you
purpose
very
of
much for that answer, DTM Khalid. So we also have a couple of answers coming in from Danish. He says voice is the tool to communicate with others. Then Fariza says to convey our messages. Of course, Farhaz, as always, has a brilliant answer. Voice is the medium to convey our message, and so many more. So, of course, yes, we have one raise of hands.
yeah. If you want anything in life, you have to ask. If you don't ask, you cannot get whatever you want. So asking is a portion of communication. So you have to communicate for anything and everything.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So let us give a round of applause to everyone who shared their thoughts, and I appreciate it very much.
Can I put in another viewpoint?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I feel, see, no one knows what's in someone else's mind. So that's the only way you can share your thoughts. You can't read someone else's mind. So you want to put forth your ideas, your views, you need to speak, definitely.
Absolutely. Can I know your good name, please? Your Deepa, is it?
Deepa, yes, Deepa.
Very well done, Deepa. Of course, what you said was really true. I mean, obviously, we can't speak for any other person. So definitely, if we have to communicate, we need to speak up, and which is why we need the voice. And I can't disagree with any of your answers. Well, simply put, your voice is the medium in which you communicate. And it is when you speak, your mind, your body, your voice act as partners to convey the message to the audience. So let me share a quick story with you. About 2 years ago, I took part in this conference where it was for all the entrepreneurs, and the Young Entrepreneur of the Year was supposed to deliver his keynote. So looking at him, he was this dashing personality with a Tom Ford suit and a Louis Vuitton belt, and he set these impressions really high. So we were expecting this very high standard level of a keynote. And as soon as he started to speak, he started with a squeaky voice. And that entire impression that we built so far suddenly collapsed. So ladies and gentlemen, your voice really represents your personality. Your voice represents who you are, and which is why we need to put in that effort to really develop your voice, to really improve the quality of your voice, which is, of course, the purpose of my presentation today. So as I said before, your greatest tool as a speaker is your voice, and it is the primary link, it's the medium of your message. So let us see, how do we develop a voice that makes people listen? And for that, we have to understand what are the characteristics, what are the qualities of that ideal voice. An ideal voice must be pleasant. It must be natural. It must be dynamic. Now, when I ask, what do you mean by a dynamic voice? Many tend to think that this is about the volume, the intensity of your voice, which is not so. It is really about the enthusiasm, the energy that you give into your voice is what I mean as a dynamic voice. Your voice must be expressive. Just imagine you go to a funeral and you're supposed to deliver a speech which is at a very high pitch and very energetic, which is usually not the way that we deliver a speech at a funeral. Generally, your voice must be very low, and it must be generally a lower pitch and also very monotonous. And that is how you're supposed to deliver a speech at a funeral. But if you're delivering a speech at a ball, then you're like, definitely you're going to be very pumped up, energetic. So that's how you can make your voice expressive. Your voice should be able to communicate the emotions. What are you actually feeling? And your voice must be easily heard. So in order for you to develop these, we will learn in a while, how are we going to really do this? How are we going to really develop a voice that has all these characteristics? So before that, let us see how is the voice created, because this helps us to address all the issues with your voice, and we are able to address to the root causes of all these problems which are associated with your voice, if you understand how your voice is really created. So it is your breath that produces the voice. Now let me simply ask a very simple question. What is the most important organ next to your vocal cords that is involved in producing your voice? So I would just, first of all, DTM Farhaz cannot answer this question. So I will just open it for everyone else. So this is my question. What is the most important organ that is involved in producing your voice next to your vocal cords? Because we know that vocal cords are really important and it is the most important organ. But after that, what is it that is important? Let us open the chat box for this. We can have the answers through the chat box. Okay, we have lungs as the answer. Trachea, diaphragm. Oh, absolutely. So let us give an applause to Mana. So here we have the right answer. It is the diaphragm muscles. So if you have by any chance done singing or voice training, you would know the voice trainers would always say, sing from the diaphragm, not from your throat. So Seham, you have raised your hand. You have a question for us?
No, actually, I'm not having a question. I have a request. Please, if you don't mind, remove the virtual background because it affects your photo, yeah, the way you are.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Right. There seems to be a slight issue.
You see, it is not always the voice, it's sometimes the look as well. Am I right, DTM Farhaz, Farouk? It's not only the first impression doesn't come from the voice.
I suppose it's okay now?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
Thank you.
So here we have the diaphragm. The diaphragm is located generally right below your lungs. And this is the muscle that gives the strength, that gives the power into your voice. And the voice trainers would really vouch for this. So when I was small, I did voice training, and my voice trainer always used to scream at me, Donna, always use your diaphragm. Don't use your throat to sing, because the strength and the power of your voice is really gained from the strength of these diaphragm muscles. So that's why all these famous divas, they specially have trainings to really strengthen these diaphragm muscles. So as you see on the slide, the diaphragm muscle is located right below your lungs, and it is a dome-shaped structure. And what happens is when you breathe, this dome-shaped structure, when you inhale, will get flattened to provide more room in the abdominal cavity for the air to fill in. So now this is flattened. And what will happen when you breathe out or when you exhale is that this flattened shape will get much curved shape. Why? Because that is to push out air from the system. So ladies and gentlemen, it is this pushed out air when you exhale, when it vibrates the vocal cords, that produces your voice. Now let us do a small activity. Now this is one of the favorite parts, one of my favorite parts in this presentation. So that is, I will ask all of you to breathe in. And generally it is said that we only make use of 20% of our lung capacity, which is not good. So I will ask you to breathe in, and I will ask you to breathe in some more. So you will use the maximum lung capacity as much as possible. And when I ask you to breathe out, you will breathe out. So you will breathe in from your nose, you will breathe out from your mouth. And I would love to hear this. I would love to get all of you to switch on your videos and also unmute yourselves, because we are going to do this small activity. So I would love to see all the beautiful, handsome faces in this audience, and also hear the lovely voices. So if you're ready, you can say you're ready in the chat box. Haha, no worries, Farhaz. All righty, thank you very much. So what I want to do is, so as I explained, you will breathe in some more, and when you want to breathe out, you will breathe out from your mouth. So it goes as, okay, so for that, I want all of you to unmute and do this so that I can hear your lovely voices, because we are going to do a small modification for this as well. So let us go ahead and unmute ourselves. Okay, brilliant. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, start. Breathe in. Breathe in some more. Breathe out. Okay, excellent. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do a small modification to this. That is, instead of breathing out, we are going to sing a note. You're ready?
Toastmaster
is very excited.
please.
Danish is very excited.
Yeah, we have a professional singer, Toastmaster Hazel D'Souza.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
She will sing on our behalf.
Modification. So it's all right. You don't have to get excited. This is something that we would love to do. Generally, we love to sing, right? So this is, you can sing any note. Any note that is comfortable for you, right? So let us deal with this. We can do this. We are Toastmasters. All right. So 1, 2, 3, start. Breathe in. Breathe in some more.
Go and check 1 second. Wait one.
Sing.
They come now?
Wow, so here we go. Zainab, we didn't hear your lovely voice. All right, let us give a big round of applause. I'm sure we can improve a little bit, hopefully after my presentation, and then probably we can form a choir from this bunch as well. So ladies and gentlemen, what I wanted to show from this activity is that it is your exhaled air that produces your voice, because simply it's your breath that produces your voice. So now that we understood how is the voice created, now we are going to move on to the types of voices. Do you whisper or do you boom? Do you trudge like a turtle or do you race like a rabbit? Are you monotonous or are you melodious? Is your voice a rain cloud or a rainbow? Let us see, is your voice, do you boom or do you whisper? What do you mean by a whisper? So this is basically a whisper. A whisper is a flow of air through your vocal cords without vibrating your vocal cords. But unfortunately, we do have speakers who speaks with a fading voice, which makes your voice inaudible. And also, just imagining in a physical setting, if I keep screaming from the top of my throat, hello, DTM, say home. And if I continue in the same intensity, what would happen is probably the front few members in the audience would end up being deaf by the end of my presentation. So which is why, as a speaker, we need to really moderate the volume, the intensity of your voice. But what is important for us to understand in terms of moderating this volume intensity is that if you're inaudible, if you're speaking with a fading voice, if you're almost whispering, even if you have the greatest speech prepared, a very well structured speech that has the greatest content, there is no point, because no one will be able to really hear you. And also, be careful when you speak, you tend to hear your voice a little bit louder than how the audience would really hear it. So make sure that you have to ensure that the last seated person in the audience really hears you well and your voice is very well audible. And also at the same time, not just for audibility, we can also use this volume variety, or you can vary the intensity of your voice in order to communicate different things, like in order to really vary your volume, vary your intensity based on what you want to communicate. For instance, if you want to amplify your emotions, you can speak really loud. Or if you want to draw close attention to what you're speaking, you can really speak softly. So likewise, you can really vary your volume based on the emotions that you want to convey. So this is yet another activity that I would love the audience participation. So first I would do this activity and I would love to have maybe 1 or 2 volunteers to take up the challenge and do it. And just to inform you, like, no need of getting excited. This is just, I would just do it in my style and you can do it in your own way. But what is important is that you play with the volume and you use your volume variety in order to really communicate your feelings, and your voice must be expressive, and that should be done through the variety of the volume. So let us see. When I got to the theater, I found out that the movie was sold out. I was so angry. I have been waiting to see that movie 3 months, and tonight is my only day of all week. If only I had bought my ticket earlier. I tried to bargain with the ticket taker, but he would not even listen to me. First, I offered him $10 to let me in. Then I promised to stay after the show and help clean up all popcorns and M&Ms on the floor of the theater. I can't believe he didn't accept my offer. So that is how I would deal with this situation. All right, so we have a volunteer to take up the activity. Anandata, am I articulating your name correctly?
Perfect.
Okay, brilliant. So we will first go to Anandata and then we will
No,
go
no,
to...
I would give it to Erbil Toastmasters because they have come in a group. Let them have the cake
brilliant.
first.
All right, so we will give it to Erbil Toastmasters. Can we know the name of the volunteer?
Yes, madam, you can speak.
You can go ahead.
Erbil Toastmaster, you can tell your name and start reading.
We
I
can't
think they
hear you.
muted. No, they muted the device because they're using multiple devices. So just
Okay.
give them
Oh.
few
Okay.
seconds. They would. Yeah.
Sure, maybe till then.
I will do it. I will do it.
Yes, correct.
When I go to the theater and found that the movie was sold out, I was so angry. I've been waiting to see that movie 3 months, and tonight is the only day off all week. If only I had bought my ticket earlier. I tried to bargain with the ticket taker, but he would not even listen to me. First, I offered him $10 to let me in. Then I promised to stay after the show and help clean all the popcorn and M&M on the floor of the theater. I can't believe he did not accept my offer. Thank you.
Wow, brilliant. I think you are really living in the moment, Anandata, and very well done. And I think this is one of the most successful attempts of this activity for all these times that I've done this presentation so far. So very well done. Kudos to you. So we can go for the next volunteer. If Erbil Toastmasters are ready, we can give them the chance. And we have Zainab also. So maybe till Erbil Toastmasters are ready to join us, we can ask Zainab to
Yes,
take...
I'm ready. I'm from Baghdad Toastmaster.
All righty, so here we go.
Yes. When I got to the theater and found out that the movie was sold out, I was so angry. I've been waiting to see that movie 3 months, and tonight is my only day off all week. If only I had bought my ticket earlier. I tried to bargain with the ticket taker, but he would not even listen to me. First, I offered him $10 to let me in. Then I promised to stay after the show and help clean up all the popcorn and M&Ms on the floor of the theater. I can't believe he didn't accept my offer.
Woohoo! So very well done, Zainab. Thank you very much for participating. Amazing. Kudos to you. Okay, we'll give the opportunity to one more. That is Vijo is here again from Erbil. Okay, we have from Erbil Toastmasters. Vijo, why not you take up?
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna start now.
Please
when I
go
got
ahead.
to the theater and found out that the movie was sold out, I was so angry. I've been waiting to see that movie 3 months, and tonight is my only day off all week. If only I had bought my ticket earlier. Actually, I tried to bargain with the ticket taker, but he wouldn't even listen to me. First, I offered him $10 just to let me in. Then I promised to stay after the show and help clean up all the popcorn and M&Ms on the floor of the theater. I can't believe he just didn't accept my offer. Too bad.
Wow, very well done. So it was all worth the wait from Erbil Toastmasters Club. Thank you very much, Vijo, for the contribution. So we have many activities lined up, so the other participants do not have to worry. We have a few more activities lined up. And let me now move on to the next part of the presentation. So now we learned one type of voice. Do you whisper or do you boom? Now the second type is, do you trudge like a turtle or do you race like a rabbit. Now, of course, this is about the rate of speaking. Just imagine that you're speaking at a very low pace. You're having the rate of speaking is relatively less. Probably what will happen is you will allow the audience to daydream during your presentation. But as opposed to, if you're speaking at a very faster pace, then you will probably sound like this, because you're bombarding the audience with too much information and probably they will not understand it properly. So as an effective communicator, it's really important that we strike the right balance in terms of the rate of speaking. Now, let me show you some interesting graph that is introduced by Jeremy Donovan. And according to him, he has drawn this graph, volume against rate. And if your volume is high and the rate of speaking is less, you will sound authoritative to the audience. And if your volume is high and if your rate of speaking is very fast, then you will sound passionate to the audience. And if your volume is less and the rate of speaking is also less, then you will sound very calming to the audience. And if you want to sound suspenseful, then you can increase the rate of speaking and reduce the volume. So based on what you want the audience to feel, ladies and gentlemen, you can make use of this graph that is introduced by Jeremy Donovan to us. I think this is quite useful to all of us as we are always delivering speeches. So you can really vary the volume and also the rate of speaking of your speeches based on this graph. All right, so now that we learned two values of your voice, that is the rate of speaking, the volume of speaking, let us now move on to, are you monotonous or are you melodious? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to listen to a song like this, tonight we are young, so let's set the world on fire. DTM Seham, did you enjoy my singing by any chance? Yeah, I know, right? I mean, not too sure, not very, very likable. But as opposed to if I sing as, tonight we are young. Was that better, DTM Seham? All right, brilliant. So I think most of you could be feeling the same thing, right? So we would love to have a little bit of variety in our voices, even not just when we are singing, it's also when we are listening to the speeches. So which is why we need to really avoid a flat voice, a monotonous voice, and rather go for a very melodious variety in your pitches when you are delivering your speeches. So which is why the monotony is always boring. And think about a situation where you're delivering a speech saying, I'm so glad that I got my attorney at law exam results. But as opposed to if I say, I'm so glad that I got my attorney at law exam results, that way my voice is more expressive, it has more variety, it has more color, and people will be able to really understand your emotions. So which is why I would share this with you. Look at all the color that you can bring into your speeches with just the three values that I just introduced to you. So that is the volume variety. You can make your voice loud or you can make it quiet. And also the rate of speaking, you can speak fast or slow, and you can make your pitch higher or you can make your pitch lower. So in between these varieties, you can bring all this color into your speeches. But unfortunately, as speakers, I've been in Toastmasters now for about 10 years, yet I've seen that the vocal variety is the most underrated, the value of speaking, because we rarely focus on it. But there is so much that you can do with the vocal variety, which I do hope I'm able to convince you today with this presentation. And here we go. So this is another activity that I would love to have the participants to get involved in. So this is a technique called inflections. Inflections, it's not infection. I think this is something that we talk about these days really so much. So this is inflections, ladies and gentlemen. That is, you give a higher pitch to a certain word in order to change the meaning. And as you see on screen, there are 7 sentences, but it's the same sentence, but we are going to change the pitch given to one word to have these 7 different meanings. So for instance, if I say, I would give a higher pitch to I didn't say he stole the money. Simply someone else did say, I didn't say he stole the money. It's somebody else who said it. And the second one, simply I didn't say he stole the money. Or the third one, I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say it, but with my eyes or nonverbal communication, I showed it's this person who stole the money. But I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money, not him, maybe her, maybe them, maybe somebody else, right? I didn't say he did it. So I would go for the last one. I didn't say he stole the money. It's not the money that he stole. It's something else that he stole. Maybe a wallet, maybe the computer, maybe something else, maybe the mobile phone. So you see, when you emphasize on one single word and when you give a higher pitch to one single word, you can generate a completely different meaning, which you can easily incorporate in your speeches. So now I would love to have some volunteers to really go through this. You don't have to do all 7 sentences. Maybe pick and choose 1 or 2 that you would like to do. If you can do all 7, brilliant, excellent. And I know that this audience can definitely handle it. But because of the time constraints, let's allow maybe 2 sentences for each volunteer. So who would like to go first?
Yes, I am ready.
That is, can I know your kind name, please?
Tariq Shafiq.
All right, Shafiq, you can go ahead. Tell me what 2 sentences you want to really try. Is it the...
I will try third one and fifth one.
Brilliant. Okay.
I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money.
Okay, great. So I didn't say he stole the money. I think that's what you wanted to say, right? The third one.
Yeah, third one. I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money.
All right, so brilliant. Thank you very much for taking part. Thank you, Shafiq. So we have, let's give the chance to Fazila. Fazila, we would love to hear from you. Hi, Fazila. We can hear you. You can go ahead. What are the 2 sentences that you want to try?
I want to try the second one and the last one.
All right, second one and the last one. Go ahead.
I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Fazila. You have really got the technique very well. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And so we have, let us give the opportunity to Zainab. Oh, I think Zainab spoke last time. Did Zainab speak last time?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so if you don't mind, shall we give it to Miriam and we would come back to you in the next activity, Zainab?
Of course, of course.
Brilliant. So Miriam, we would love to listen to you.
With all pleasure. Should I pick or you pick for me?
Wow. So maybe let's say that you would do the third and the fourth.
Sure. I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Miriam. Can you kindly repeat?
Okay. I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, Miriam.
Back to you.
So maybe now we would have from hear from Marwan.
Yeah,
Marwan Mohammed?
Marwan. My name is Marwan.
Marwan, yes, Marwan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the 7th one and 6th one. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't say he stole the money. I didn't say he stole the money.
Excellent, Marwan. Thank you very much. All right. So with that, we would move on to the next part of the presentation. All right. So now we are moving on to, apologies, there is a problem with my light. So we are moving on to the next part of the presentation. That is basically about, is your voice a rain cloud or a rainbow? Is your voice a rain cloud or a rainbow? Now, what does this mean? This is about the overall quality of your voice. What is the attitude that you give into your voice? So this is about the pitch variety, the volume variety, the intensity of your speaking, and also finally coming to the attitude, all of these things together, the absolute overall quality that you give into the voice. So this is why we are going to do the tone test. So the tone test is, for instance, I would do this activity. So this is something, again, the audience can take part as well. So in this tone test, I would first do the first one, that is based on your tone, you can really generate two different meanings. So let us see how this goes. I appreciate all what you have done for me, and I hope to return the favor someday. Now, what does this mean? This is a completely honest statement. I appreciate all what you have done for me, and I hope to return the favor someday. Or I can be extremely sarcastic as well. I appreciate all what you have done for me, and I hope to return the favor someday. See, based on your voice, based on the attitude that you give, you can generate completely different meanings. And the next one, kindness. Do you call that kindness? I wouldn't treat a stray dog the way you've treated me. So that is anger, the resentment that is shown in your voice. And the last one, and it is generally shown, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a very low tone, you tend to get the interest of the audience a little bit more. You tend to command their attention a little bit more when you have a lower pitch and a tone which is much more deeper. If each of us do one kind thing for someone else every day, we could help make the world a better place to live. So that is if you want to speak with conviction. So who would like to give it a try now? We would preferably go for someone who didn't get the chance to speak up. So we have, all right, so I would love to hear from Nurihan.
Hello.
Hi, Nurihan.
Hello.
Would
how
you
are
like to do all three, or would you like to select?
I'll select the second one, the anger.
All right, go ahead, Nurihan.
Okay. Kindness. Do you call that kindness? I wouldn't treat a stray dog that way.
Brilliant. But I think you're too kind even to be even when you're showing resentment.
I feel that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining. And Ghazi, we would love to hear from you too.
Okay. Hi. I'll be going for the third one.
Sure.
So, if each of us do one kind thing for someone else every day, we could help make the world a better place to live.
Amazing. I think you really spoke from your heart. And I felt like really believing you. So kudos to you. Very well done on that. Hazel.
Could I go for the last one?
Sure.
Deep feeling. If each of us do one kind thing for someone else every day, we could help make the world a better place to live.
I think you naturally have that voice, Hazel. So I think you're having that unfair advantage over others. So kudos to you. Very well done. So let us now move on to another volunteer, maybe two more. What about Mary? Mary, I would love to hear the first one from you.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
I'm from FC Mabuhay Toastmaster Club.
Excellent.
So I'll do the first one. The honest one or the sarcasm?
You can do both and then show us the difference.
Okay, I'll try. I'll do my best.
Sure.
I appreciate all you have done for me, and I hope to return the favor someday. I appreciate all you have done for me, and I hope to return the favor someday. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mari. And we can have one more volunteer. Can we have one more volunteer, please?
Ghazi Azan.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Someone called out my name?
Yeah, I said Ghazi Azan has been raising his hand.
Oh, I see. Okay. I think he tried. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe anybody else, or we can move on.
Why don't you ask DTM Farhaz Farouk try one?
Thank you, but there are some who have raised their hands in the chat, Dona. Eager volunteers.
Ghazi did try, Mari did try. Okay, we'll allow Zainab to take it up this time.
There is somebody called Ahima Sharma.
Marwan is there. Marwan Muhammad.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're not running it, no? Earlier you can do it.
Oh.
I think Marwan did, but that's okay. We can allow Zainab and Marwan both to take part.
There is one Ahima Sharma also.
Yeah, Dona, there's a lady in the chat box. She's been volunteering for a long time.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I only went through the
Danish Rizvi.
And Ahima Sharma.
Ahima Sharma.
Ahima. So we'll ask Ahima to try it. Ahima, please go ahead.
I'm going to try the second one. Can I try it?
Of course.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Kindness? Do you call it kindness? I wouldn't treat a stray dog the way you have treated me.
Wow, very well done, Ahima. Even I got scared for the resentment that you had in your voice.
She was smiling. But she was smiling.
Sorry if I scared you.
I didn't see her. I was just judging by what she said. All right.
Now
so
you can see me, I guess. I'm just on my camera.
Oh,
Good to see you, Ahima. Now I know who you are.
Thank you.
Exactly. It's always good to see the beautiful faces, the handsome faces, because then we can connect well. All right. So let us now move on to the next part of the presentation. I would like to kindly request you to keep your mics muted. So the next part of the presentation is, do you have mum blighties? I'm sure you must have heard of this
Excuse me,
before.
TM Donna. Please,
Yes.
moderator, would you unmute everyone?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, so mumblitis, I'm sure you have heard of mumbling. Maybe you have seen people mumbling. So this is what we call as mumblitis. That is the indistinctness of the words when you speak. And as effective communicators, we must always avoid mumbling. We must not swallow the words, but rather we must articulate properly. So which is why articulation has two parts, that is pronunciation and enunciation. So pronunciation is basically the overall the utterance of the words, and enunciation is the overall sound that you give into the words. And especially in English language, we have words which has very close resemblance, such as effect, affect, principle, principle. So if we do not articulate properly, which we generally do, and mistakes always happen, but it's always good to articulate properly, practice the articulations properly, because otherwise, if we do not articulate properly, effectively, that what you want to deliver to the audience, it might not get conveyed properly or effectively, or the audience might misunderstand what you're trying to say. And also, there are commonly mispronounced words that I always tell generally the audiences in Sri Lanka, and because we always go by what we hear usually, and we don't put a special effort in searching for the correct articulation most of the time. So for instance, I'm from the Pinnacle Advanced Toastmasters Club, and some say Pinnacle. And during the installation time in Toastmasters, I've heard many saying installation. And so installation. So you can get mixed up, but it's always good to, before you deliver a speech, even if it's the most commonly used word, it's always good to search for the correct articulation and use it, because it will always make a significant change in your presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, we learned 4 types of voices today. That is about the volume variety, the rate of your speaking, the pitch variety, and your tone variety. So let me move on to how we can really improve the voice. So voice relaxing exercises, the breathing exercise that we did at first will really help you out to relax your voice. I think this is really effective during maybe when you're taking part in a contest, because you could be nervous, and that can easily be shown with your voice. So it's always good to relax your voice through these voice relaxing exercises, such as the breathing exercises, and there are many more that you can search on YouTube. And also, there are exercises for articulation. And I still remember when I was small, my mom used to do these elocution exercises, and I always look at her mouth, the way her lips move when I was eating my breakfast, my meals. So what she does is she always does these elocution exercises, such as pop, pope, poop, pop, pape, peep, cock, cork, cook, cork, cake, keek, dad, dod, dude, dod, dade, deed. So it will really help you to really bring up the standards of the quality of your articulation. And also there are activities such as, for instance, for your lips, because your lips play a very significant role in articulation. So if you happen to remember, now here in Sri Lanka, we used to do this motorbike when we were small. That is, we go. So I do hope that you also do it in your countries. I really don't know, but this is something that I now do as in terms of improving the articulation, because to relax your lips, it's so important. And also in terms of your pitch variety, well, there are millions of activities, but maybe activities like, so you can really test what is the highest that you can reach and what is the lowest that you can reach. If you can have a very good range in your voice, that will really help you out even in your speeches. So these are some of the activities I would recommend to you. Well, of course, we all know this famous quote, Rome was not built in a day. So just like that, if you want to have that high quality voice, and if you want to maintain it till you, like when you're till you're very, very old, because we know that our voice can be cranky when we are old, but if you really want to maintain the same quality, maybe just take 1 minute or even like probably 2 minutes time of your daily schedule, and then focus on these voice relaxing exercises. And I see Anandita has a question.
Yes, sometimes it's very difficult to identify a person's age with his voice.
Excuse me, DTM, morally, we can delay the questions until the end of the session, please. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Maybe we'll take it at the end. Absolutely.
At the end, yes,
So,
after the workshops. Thank you so much.
and then, so to wrap up the presentation, we can spice up our speaking with pitch variety, duration variety, pause variety, loudness or volume variety. So which is simply put, duration variety is, if I can say, DTM Seham is far away. So I drag the word far rather than just saying she's far away, because it's more expressive. It tells people, oh, wow, she's far away. And that's easy to click into your brain when you use vocal variety. And also I could say, I'm feeling lazy today. So I drag the word lazy, again, the same effect, right? So that you tend to feel how lazy I am with my voice. So that is pitch variety, duration variety, pause variety, loudness or volume variety. You can incorporate into your speeches so that you can effectively communicate. And finally, the purpose of my speech today was to make people listen to your voice. And this is something additional that I thought of putting, because we see with COVID and inflation and so many things happening around the world, it's easy to be negative. But since we are talking about communication, and as most of you expressed that it is our voice that we can use to communicate a message, and I do believe that our voice, our words that we use has a ripple effect in the universe, and there is enough and more negativity around us. So maybe as Toastmasters, we can be the change makers, where we can use our words wisely to really not use it to speak of somebody, speak ill of somebody who is not present, to judge, because it is said that God also waits an entire lifetime to judge a person. So who are we to judge somebody? And then you can avoid complaining, blaming, excuse making. So basically use your words to motivate others, empower others, to help them to reach their goals, and be somebody's sunshine when there are rainy days. So simply put, that's how you can be someone where people would love to listen to you. And finally, I can conclude saying that I love my voice, and I really do hope that you would say the same by incorporating all these techniques that I shared with you today. And now I would like to open up the session for Q&As. And if you want to connect with me, you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. You can drop a message saying that you were in this presentation, and I would love to connect with all of you. So now I would open it for the Q&As.
Thank you so much. But the Q&A session is going to be after the third workshop.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we are behind time already. So thank you very much, very much for this wonderful, amazing, outstanding workshop. Truly, I enjoyed it from the beginning till the end, and I believe everyone here has benefited and enjoyed it till the end. Thank you so much, and please accept the certificate of appreciation.
Thank you very much, Vijo.
Thank you so much. And before we go to the second workshop, I would like to acknowledge the presence of two of our district officers, our DD, District Director, and our DRPM, DTM Alan Paul. And before we listen to our District Director, we are going to get closer and get some tips about her. She began by welcoming a very, she was delightful, and she was a great Toastmaster from the beginning. She served at the club area and division as a team player and a team leader as well. She has been awarded with Best Division Director Award of the year 2017-2018. The Best YLP Coordinator 2019, Kuwait and DTAC Vice Chairman 2019-2020. And of course, she was PQD for the last term, 2020 and 2021, and she got the excellence for her role in the international convention for this year. Let us all welcome together our most beautiful District Director, DTM Alifia Lakdawala. Over to you, our District Director.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters or DTM Seham. I would, sorry, I left work and I joined the meeting late, but whatever I joined and whenever I joined, I thoroughly enjoyed the session. So kudos to you on that. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our District 20 PQD DTM Khalid Abdullah, our Club Code Director DTM Khalid Jalal, our District PRM DTM Alan Paul, our webmaster, soon to be DTM Toastmaster Faisal Jamil, various EXCOM members, leaders, and a special good evening to DTM Seham. Thank you, Division H team, for putting such a wonderful show today for the new members. I always believe that, when your intentions are right, the end result is beautiful. So what I have seen over my tenure right now, I see that DTM Seham comes as a very caring leader. She is very much particular about how things will be done, what are area directors, how do they need support. So this is her effort to the district. The best was saved for the last. So congratulations on doing such a wonderful show. To Donna, I think fabulous presentation. There was so much of engagement. There was so much of interaction. And I haven't seen so many participants in a new member orientation program. So excellent choice of presenters. Coming to the participant list, I was seeing that so many members are new. From District 20, we have 4 countries now. And I'm so happy to see eager participation from Iraq, both Baghdad Toastmasters Club and Erbil Toastmasters Club. So members, this is the right way to learn, to empower. And my one message to all the clubs, especially to the VP membership, is that take these learnings and do conduct a mini new member orientation program after your club meetings, and ensure that whichever prospect guest comes to your meeting does become a member for that club. So these tips in terms of how to play with your voice, your evaluation, your speech content, this is what we actually join Toastmasters for. These speech qualities and the orientation on new roles for the clubs, the various roles and responsibility of the club. This is what our VP membership of every club need to learn. They in turn can go and empower not only themselves, but also the guests who can become prospect members of District 20. Great attempt, and I am thoroughly proud of you, DTM Seham, and the entire Division H team for putting such a quality show. Thank you so much. The district is proud of you. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, our beautiful Didi, for your showering words to me. And I wish that I really deserve it. I only doing my duty for the people I care about in District 20 and the leaders I'm learning of, such like you and all the district leaders. Thank you so much. You are inspiring us, and your words and powerful message will be in our head, and we, inshallah, will act accordingly. Thank you so much, Didi, for your presence. So now let's move on to our next workshop. And the lady that's going to introduce or present this workshop, she is as well as beautiful as our Didi. As a matter of fact, all the women today or our presenters are so beautiful. So it was temptation for the audience to attend. She is a Toastmaster for 7 years, contested 3 times since joining. She is a district champion for table topics and evaluation. District 20 BR, when District 20 was the largest district in the whole world. She's a beautiful mom of a beautiful 2 girls. Runs on venture called the Pitch Club, which trains children on confidence building and communication using principles of behavior analysis. Professionally, she is a board certificate behavior analyst and a case supervisor at an early intervention center. So now let's put our hands together. She's an expert in the workshop she is going to present, but before we go to her, let's first know the title of her workshop. That's the art of evaluation and feedback. We all are scared from this evaluation and feedback. Oh my God, what I have done. So before we go, we are going to listen to our timer for today, explaining the time for our beautiful presenter, DTM Nancy George Vijo. Before we go to her, let's listen to the timer. TM Farisa Ahsan.
Good evening, everyone. For our second workshop by Toastmaster Nancy, her timings are 20 minutes. I will display the green card at 10 minutes. At 15, I will display the yellow. And at 20 minutes, I will display the red. Make sure you pin the timer, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, TM Farisa. And now, with our beautiful presenter, DTM Nancy George Vijo. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, distinguished Master Seha Mohammed. Very warm good evening to all of you present here. Let me start with the very first word that Toastmaster Seham said. Our word that scares all of us, evaluation, right? Is that how you feel when you know someone's going to evaluate you? Right? Is that how you feel? If you feel that way, then the person who is your evaluator is not the right person for you. The evaluator has to make you feel motivated. You should look forward to listen to what your evaluator has to say. And your evaluator's comments, even if it is critical evaluation should motivate you to do better than what you were doing now. With that note, let me start on my workshop, The Arts of Evaluation. Can I please ask, I can't share my screen. Can you please enable the host? Can you please let me share my screen?
Yes, DTM Nancy, go ahead now.
Thank you very much. So I'm still finding it a little difficult to share my screen. Okay, I am facing a little bit of difficulty to share, but just hold on just a second, please. Okay, I hope this should work. Okay, now, what exactly is the art of evaluation? Why is it called the arts of evaluation? So for this presentation, since we are in a Toastmasters workshop, I'm going to use everything that Toastmasters International has given us to help make a presentation and to take it to another different level. Very simple and straightforward, put in directly. Evaluation, a good evaluation is based on an evaluation judge's ballot. Just as simple as that. It is not based on anything else, but simply what the judge's ballot says, which is the arts. The A, the analytical quality. The R, the recommendations. The T, the technique. And the S, which is the summation. Simply put forward, the arts of evaluation. And to start with, learning to give a speech is very important, but almost equally important is learning to listen critically and analytically, and then to give the speaker the benefit. Now, what exactly is the analytical quality? Thankfully, our lovely Toastmaster Dona has covered everything, most of everything to do with the analytical quality. So what Toastmasters International wants us to do when we evaluate somebody is to see their strengths and their weaknesses both together at the same time. I reiterate, to see their strengths and their weaknesses both together at the same time. Now, was the evaluator's comments clear? Was it logical? Did the speaker understand what you were saying? For example, if I was to tell a speaker, oh, you know, your pace was too fast, or your pace wasn't okay, how do I expect my speaker to understand what I meant? Rather, if I said, Nancy, you were speaking too fast. For example, you see the person was running and running and running and running. But rather, if you would have said something like the person was running so fast that they couldn't catch up, it would have made more sense. That is how clear and logical your comments of evaluation should be. The third, did your evaluator identify specific strengths and weaknesses of the presentation? Now, all this said and done, what exactly do you identify in an analytical quality? That takes me to our next slide. There are two things that you evaluate in a person's speech. One is their content, and the second is the delivery. Now, what do I evaluate in the content again? In the content, just as simple as how it's said, the opening, the body, and the conclusion. So rather than saying, I loved your opening very much, it was so energetic, you can do it in different styles. You can have a catchy phrase, you can have a personal story, a quote, or a question. For example, if a person had spoken about balloons bursting, or memories related to a balloon bursting, you can directly start by saying pop, 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 pop. And then it just captures the attention. There are so many different styles in which you do. Now, again, when you're analyzing another person's speech and you're looking at the opening, analyze, how did he start a speech? Did he use a catchy phrase? Did he use a personal story? Did he have a quote, or did he have a question? Note it down. Note down everything that the person says analytically, not in a big paragraph, but analytically. Second, did he drill in the story? How did he sink in his message? Did he just tell it to us casually through a story, or did he reiterate his theme multiple times throughout the story? How did he do it? Note that down. Conclusion. Now, how did he leave us with a take-home message? Did he say, oh, I hope you all understood my story and will live up to it? Or thank you everyone for listening to me? Or did he say, this was my choice, what is yours? Analyze it, write it down. Now, why am I reiterating, write it down, write it down, write it down? I tell you, write it down, because if a speaker has you as the evaluator, it is your responsibility and solely your responsibility to make sure you make the best of the time and the speech that he has given. You make sure you have written down everything so that when you evaluate, your evaluation is honest, it is purposeful, it is kind, and it is motivational. When you write it down, in the end, you can select a couple of points which you know will genuinely help the speaker. Not a couple of points that's going to show how analytically bright you are, but a couple of points that will genuinely help the speaker. Moving on to delivery, I don't have to do much here because my fellow presenter, Toastmaster Dona, did most of my work for me with vocal variety. But for body language, let me cover this. So when you tell somebody, your eye contact was not very good, what do you mean by it? What do you mean by an eye contact, especially on a screen, on a virtual screen? What do you mean by an eye contact? Explain that. Explain how much, explain, like, for example, if someone was evaluating me on this presentation and on my eye contact, I would have loved to hear something like, Nancy, your eye contact was great towards the middle portion, but it wasn't so great towards the first portion, because throughout the middle portion, you were looking directly into the camera and it felt like you were addressing us. But in the beginning, you were a bit nervous, so you were looking to the left and the right and up and down. There are a lot of different connotations for the position of your eyes throughout a presentation. For example, if you look to the upper right quadrant, that means you're trying to remember something. If you're looking to the lower right quadrant, that means you're trying to frame a positive sentence. And upper left quadrant has different connotations. Explain this, explain why it's important so it makes sense to your speaker. Hand gestures. What do you mean? Oh, you could have used more hand gestures. Rather than saying something like that, tell them how them using their hands only this much was not positive enough or was not open communication enough. Tell them how they had to expand their hands outside the peripheral of their shoulders and how much of a difference it makes. Tell them how pointing towards the screen and when you say you and going away when you were saying I was scared makes a difference. That's how you explain. Explain what they did, explain how they could have made it further. Show genuine interest in the speaker's development. The next one about the legs. Now, this is very funny because I really haven't observed a lot of people addressing the legs. Have you seen people dancing on stage when they talk? I have. I have seen them take rhythmic steps, 1, 2, 3, front, 1, 2, 3, back, 1, 2, 3, left, 1, 2, 3, right. I've seen them do this throughout the screen, throughout their speech. And all I can do is to have these beats in my head, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I lose the speech. Tell them how their movements disturb. The stance, are they leaning too forward? Are they leaning too backward? Tell them exactly what they do wrong and how they can make it better. Again, usage of speaking area. You did not make best use of the speaking area. No, break it down for them so that they can understand. Tell them how they were only in the front middle part and as to how they could have moved to one particular side when they were saying something. Make it as specific as possible so your evaluation matters. About vocal variety, we already went through it. I do not think I need to go through it again. We had this lovely exercise put in by Toastmaster Dona, which covers all of these that I've mentioned also. Emphasis, pitch, tone, pause, pace, reiteration, resonance, volume, and inflections. When you tell them, improve your vocal variety, what exactly do you mean? I've had a lot of presenters, a lot of evaluators tell me, Nancy, you need to improve on your vocal variety. And in my head, I'd be like, okay. I would say an okay because I was respectful. I didn't say an okay because I understood. Now it's your choice. Do you want to be the evaluator who says, when you speak, make sure you put your pauses. When you speak, make sure you put your pauses, is how you said it. But how it would have sounded better is if you said, when you speak, put your pauses. Explain it to them so they learn it along with you. Now, what does the R in the arts mean? It basically says that your recommendations should be practical, should be helpful, should be positive. Now, for someone who has a vernacular influence in the language, like you say, vernacular or the mother tongue influence, we say, oh, you should change the way you talk or the way you speak is like speaking Hindi or Arabic and you've got to change it. Is that something we can change quickly? Is that something the person can change quickly? Do you think a person who is 35 to 40 years old, who has practiced the whole lifetime speaking in a certain way, can change this just because you said it? So when you select those points, select the points which the person can change. Because when you reiterate things that they cannot change, it's going to affect their confidence down the line, or it is going to affect your value as an evaluator because you are continuously picking on points that the person can't change. So make your points practical. For example, comment on how they could increase their volume or decrease their volume depending on their capability. Make sure that you are helpful. So which means you don't just say, you didn't do this, and you didn't do this. No. Make sure this is how you said it. This is how you could have done it better. Make it positive. Because when you end, tell them how much you believe in them. Tell them how much of a caliber you see in them and how much you believe that they can take this speech to another level by incorporating these minor changes that you have said. That will increase your credibility as a speaker, as an evaluator. And imagine how you're going to leave that speaker from the stage after listening to your evaluation. Imagine how motivated the person should feel. That should be your sole purpose. What is the T? Now you have to be really, really sensitive to the feelings and the needs of the speaker. Some of them are very sensitive. We got to take it as it is. So change your evaluation based on your speaker. Most probably you evaluate in a club. You evaluate in it's a small division, it's a small area, it's a small district. Almost everybody knows each other. So when you know that there's this certain person who's very sensitive, make sure that your evaluations do not demotivate a person. Or for example, when you know that your evaluation is going to touch something that's sensitive in their culture, make sure your evaluation does not address that area because there's nothing they can change about it. All in all, again, I reiterate, your evaluation should solely be to motivate the person and to make the person a better, at least 0.01% better than what they were listening when you were evaluating them. What are the techniques of evaluation? Now there's a lot of jargons. It looks too complicated, high, low, chronological, ground up. Don't worry about all of it. Don't worry about all it. Okay. Now there are lots of different methods in which, or techniques in which you can evaluate. You pick you do you. You don't have to copy anyone else. You don't have to copy anybody else's style. Just because someone was a champion today, that doesn't mean they'll be a champion next year. That doesn't mean they did everything right. It's just that at that point of time, that person performed the best. That's all. So there are different styles like highs and low, which means the usual sandwich style. Now, research clearly says that the sandwich style really doesn't work anymore, but that's at the workplace. Toastmasters is a fun environment. We all want to learn from each other. So rather than going up on stage and giving the evaluation where you say, you didn't do this, so you could have done this better and you could have done that better. Imagine the positivity that you could create when you tell the speaker the amount of things that the speaker did well, and then give in your suggestions. Because when you say that, there is acceptance, there is openness. They're like, oh, they accept me. She likes what I did. She sees me worthwhile, worth listening to. She sees my value. Maybe she's genuinely interested. Maybe then I could listen to her too. I could listen to her evaluation points. That's how you do it. So there are different methods. You don't have to follow any hard and fast rule. I'm not even going to discuss the techniques, because I honestly think that everyone has their own technique and we don't have to follow a particular one. Summation. As an evaluator, when you conclude, just like how you have a conclusion in a speech, what do you want your speaker to take home? So when you explain everything throughout the speech, put about 3 to 4 sentences where you motivate them and you remind them of the points they have to work on, and leave them feeling refreshed and energized and feeling more worthwhile, merely feeling that they can do so much better, feeling that they were good at what they did and that they can take it to another level. You have to be positive and encouraging. Remember that when you are put as a speaker's evaluator, it becomes your responsibility. It becomes your responsibility how the speaker performs going forward after listening to the evaluation. As long as your comments are positive and motivational, there you go. You've done it. You've done your share for the speaker. Be a genuine evaluator. So with that, I have taken very little time, kept my workshop really, really short. Thanks to Toastmaster Dona, she's covered a lot of my portions also. So I was able to finish it within time, or I would have overshot time as well. Always remember that as Toastmasters, we are educators, whether we realize it or not. And that Toastmasters is more than just a club. Toastmasters, it's an education. Was said by a very own Dr. C. Smedley. And with that, back to you, Toastmaster Siam.
Thank you so much. What a marvelous workshop. I used to listen or to watch DTM Nancy giving the evaluation workshops more than one time. Frankly speaking, today I was asking myself, what I will get from the workshop. And I truly changed my view, my perception about evaluation. You really did very, very well. Thank you so much. And you deserve to be the true champion. Thank you for your wonderful workshop. Thank you so much. And please accept this.
Thank you. Okay, I guess this is the awkward moment when you're left.
This is absolutely an awkward moment. What we can do till Siham will come back. Nancy, you can ask a few questions if they have.
Sure.
Please, we can engage for like 2-3 minutes until she will come back.
Yes, please. I have a question.
Sure, Toastmaster.
Sorry, I was disconnected from the laptop. Thank you so much.
All right, Siham, there is one person, there is one Toastmaster. She needs to ask a question. You just jumped in middle way. Let them finish now.
Okay. Toastmaster Nancy, thank you so much for the valuable workshop. I have a question about evaluation, the duration of the evaluation. I hate to take so much more, but I want to give an objective and complete evaluation. And as a matter of fact, I just capture a lot of feedback, positive and areas of development. I get stressed on the point of objectivity and being inclusive. about everything. Is it possible to take like the 3-2-1 method and then take the rest of the meeting, like telling the Toastmasters being evaluated, can we take it later on after the meeting or something like that? Or that would not be really nice.
Can I interrupt, please? I'm sorry, but according to the agenda, the questions and answers are going to be the final session after the third workshop. So if you don't mind, you can hold on your question till we finish. And of course, all the speakers are going to reply for all your questions. Don't worry. So Kelly, thank you so much. Thank you. So now we are going to move on to our third workshop. Sorry, Faisal, did you show, because I was disconnected? Did you show the?
I haven't showed anything. Actually, we were just covering up the space until you come back.
Okay, thank you so much. So please, a certificate of appreciation, if you don't mind.
Yes, we have shown the certificate already. If Nancy wants once more, we can show it.
That's okay. That's my bad. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, DT and Nancy, for your wonderful impact and very, very, very amazing workshop. Thank you.
I have a question, please.
Okay, we are going to take all the questions at the end, at the session of questions and answers, after we finish with the last workshop, if you don't mind. So now our next keynote speaker is chartered accountant by profession and a public speaker by preference, consultant helping small and medium expertise with enterprises with setting up startup transformation and operations, member of 8 clubs in District 20 and 82, currently serving as president of Bahrain Advanced Toastmasters Club in Bahrain, secretary of Biancal Advanced Toastmasters Club Sri Lanka, speech contest winner in all categories up to district level, enjoys being a mentor coach for aspiring public speakers. His aim in life is to leave behind useful knowledge that could benefit humanity and himself for eternity. So now let us all welcome our keynote speaker, and I believe that you are going to enjoy and laugh from the heart with DTM Farhaz Farouk. Most of the time is the same like DTM Messi, unless you want to be famous again. DTM Farhad, you want Farisa to extend the time?
Yes. No, it's fine. It's 20 minutes, so 15, 17 and a half, and 20, please. Green, yellow, red.
Okay, okay. So
All right,
Farisa, please.
noted.
Yeah, 15, 17, 20. Thank you so much. So over to you, sir. And the workshop is going to be Messi. So let's start.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam DTM Saham. Thanks a lot. In fact, the way DTM Saham introduced Toastmaster Dona and Toastmaster Nancy, I was thinking maybe I should have named this presentation Beauties and the Beast, not Don't Be Messy. Because there are 2 beauties and this beast here. But anyway, it's called Don't Be Messy, so we've got to live with that, I guess. Had I known, I would have just renamed it. But ladies and gentlemen, why did I call this presentation Don't Be Messy? Oh, thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Bakharuddin. Now
He's
the
a
chat is
cricketer.
going.
He's a famous football player like you.
I'm not a football player. Honestly, I don't even follow football. All I know is football is played with a round ball. That's all. But why did I call this "Don't Be Messi"? Has it got something to do with shooting at a net with the ball and something that we call goals? Maybe.
Yes.
Because DTM Khalid, when he first spoke to me, he was speaking about something called goals, and I thought he was talking about football. Because I know he's a football fan. I don't know what club he supports, but whatever club he supports is losing most likely now, so it doesn't really matter. This is what he was talking about, I figured. And then I realized, yeah, that's why Messi left the club. Anyway, that's a different story and discussion for a different day. But then I realized he was actually talking to me about personal goals and something's called club DCPs. And then it all kind of made sense. And then I thought, okay, that's probably why I should be calling this Don't Be Messi. Or should you? That's the real question, my dear friends, dear Toastmasters. Dear district leaders, fellow Toastmasters, and especially our lovely young new Toastmasters, especially from the newer member countries, Iraq and Egypt, most welcome. And of course, not forgetting all the young Toastmasters from Bahrain, where I used to live, and Kuwait. I'll never forget Kuwait, the first place where I won a district championship. It will be etched in my heart. The presentation today is about the link between personal goals and club ECPs. Now, for new Toastmasters, newcomers, these terms may seem a bit weird. What do personal goals have to do with this thing called club ECPs? These three letters. Let's see what it is. But before I get to that, let me ask you, please, in the chat box, if you may, and if you don't mind, jot down all your personal goals. TTM Murali, I will ban you from commenting. Please. No, it's okay. Please do, sir. It's always enjoyable when you are here with us. But for the newer Toastmasters, can you please tell me what are your personal goals? Why did you join Toastmasters? What were the driving forces that brought you to Toastmasters? Put it down in there. Put it down in the chat box, please. I have no personal goals. Your goals are my goals. So you're very kind, DTM Murali. How about the newer Toastmasters? Can you please tell me what brought you to Toastmasters? What brought you to Toastmasters? To get rid of stage fear. Well done. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shiraz. Get rid of stage fear. That's a goal. That's a personal commitment. Lots of people try to make when they get to Toastmasters. Almost all of us have stage fears. Any more? To become better speakers, to be an international speaker. Well done, Zizu Abdullah. Free to speak. Brilliant. Toastmaster Muhammad Wiqar. Thank you. Anybody else? Or to develop my leadership. Well done. Talk to people openly. Better deliver my thoughts. Indeed. Now we are speaking. Now we are talking. Well done. Speak with confidence. Public speaking. Love of speaking. I thought my speaking skills were getting dull. Yes, Wazila. So this is a good place to sharpen those, to find myself and freedom to speak. Well done. Thank you so much, Ghazi. Thank you, everyone. Great. Now, let me ask you, every single one of you, hold these thoughts. It's what you have written down, as well as those who did not put in the chat box. Just keep these personal goals in mind, because this is obviously what brought you to Toastmasters, into your respective clubs, and into our great movement, the international movement. Speak with confidence and with kind words. Brilliant, Toastmaster Danish. Please keep all of these in your mind, and let's see how these are going to fit into what we call club DCPs. And in that context, what are club DCPs? What are they? What are they? What do they stand for? Toastmaster Murli, I know you already let the cat out of the bag, so please. Ladies and gentlemen, club DCPs literally stand for, DCP stands for what's called the Distinguished Club Program. The first set of spellings, the ones over here, is how the Americans prefer to spell it. But me being someone who come from a former British colony, I still am a bit sensitive, and I would like to put the extra ME at the top. But either way, whichever way you spell it, it doesn't matter. The program is what's important. Distinguished Club Program. Toastmasters International is an American organization, so we prefer if we use this spelling. However, it's just Farhaz being Farhaz when I just wanted to confuse everybody with this spelling. But remember, this is the program which Toastmasters International has put forward for clubs to work towards to make sure that they achieve their own goals, not an own goal in terms of football, but their own goals for club development as well as members development. But what does it include? What does it include? Essentially, it includes achievements and requirements in 4 areas. First and foremost, of course, because Toastmasters International is essentially an educational organization, first and foremost, it's education. DCPs involve education of members of the club in various forms. We'll look at them in different ways in a short way. Then, of course, development of membership in a club. No club can be a proper club and no club can be sustainable if it does not develop its membership. So therefore, the DCP program also includes membership as a very important component. Thirdly, training. Well, we are an educational organization. We do have educational goals up here for our members, but we also have a separate set of specialized training that are part of the DCP, and this training is for the leadership of the club. And last but not least, if we wish to develop our leadership skills, we need to learn how to be good administrators. So therefore, Toastmasters International says, as part of the club, Distinguished Club program, we also will pay attention to club administration. Now, how do these 4 categories fall into place just by themselves? Essentially, there is a program and there is a certain set of points, and these are the points that Toastmasters International prescribes for each of these. For example, for education, there are 6 points, 6 DCP points for education, comprising of course, different formulae. When it comes to membership, Toastmasters International gives it 2 points, showing that membership building is an important aspect of a club. Then, when it gets to the club leadership, that has been given 1 point. It is important, but this only involves the 7 leaders of the club, so therefore it's 1 point. And of course, administering and managing the club will also earn the club 1 point. But how does this happen? This is just an extract from the club Distinguished Club program, the club success plan. For those who are officers of the club, you may have already participated in preparing something called the club success plan. This is an extract from the club success plan, and this specifies how the points are broken up. For instance, let's start taking education. The 6 points for education come as follows. Completion of 4 level 1 awards of members will earn the club 1 point. Completion of 2 level 2s will get the club another point. Completion of another 2 level 2s will get the club a 3rd point. So in other words, if you complete 4 level 2s, the club earns 2 points. You might wonder, why is it that we get only 1 point for 4 level 1s, but 2 points for 4 level 2s? Well, obviously, it's a lot more difficult to have members at higher levels than at lower levels, which is why the way the point scheme works is to give priority to the more difficult levels. And you will see this exhibited in the next 3 points. For instance, for 2 level 3s, you get 1 point. Level 3s, and that's all that is needed. You just need 2 level 3s, you'll get 1 point. Thereafter, for 1 level 4, 1 level 5 or a DTM, one of these 3, level 4, level 5 or a DTM, you get 1 point. And if you get 1 more level 4, level 5 or a DTM, you get another point. So here we have 3 levels of qualifications with qualifying for 1 point. That again exhibits that as we become more and more higher in the levels, it becomes a lot more difficult. So therefore, Toastmasters International gives a lot of weightage to that. Next comes membership building. We really need to build that membership, otherwise clubs will not remain sustainable. And so therefore, Toastmasters International actually gives 2 DCP points for renewing members, for new members that come in. New members, or if maybe perhaps if you would like to invite me to be a member of the club, I will become like a dual member, or you may reinstate an old member. If you can bring in 4, you get 1. If you can bring another 4, you get the 2nd DCP point. Next, twice a year, the district organizes club officer training. And the club officer training is something that has to be attended by the club officers. Now, the way the program works is at least 4 out of the 7 club officers should attend a club officers training. And if 4 attend it, you will get half a point. And then if they attend the second one, 4 more attend the second one, then you get the full point. Of course, our district has taken it one step further. They say you only need 4 attending to get the half a point, and then the next time we have the club officers training, another 4. But if you get all 7 in, then you will get a special district award. And this time also that special award is there. They used to have various names for it, but in essence, they try to encourage all 7 officers to get trained at both the trainings. And I personally think it's a great thing. Now, for instance, Bahrain Advanced Toastmasters, of which I am a president, we make sure that every single one of our Expo members attend the club officers training, and we have always attempted and tried to get 7 out of 7. And that's probably the best way to go. In fact, we sometimes even encourage more of our members to attend club officers training, whether they're an officer or not, because it's just a good way of training people. And then, of course, administration is an important aspect of leadership. So therefore, if you get your membership payments due on time, then you get that last 1 point. Now, that's all well and good. We are talking about DCPs, about the club. What bearing does that have on me, the member? That is the crux of today's presentation. So let me take you back to that little exercise we did where all of us noted our personal goals. Now, some of us wanted to be better public speakers, we wanted to get rid of stage fright, we wanted to be able to express our thoughts properly, we wanted to be better leaders, and so on and so forth, so many things. Now, just imagine if we actually thought about it, our aspirations individually as members is adequately covered in this entire universe of the Distinguished Club program. For instance, if I want to be a better speaker, I need to do education awards. I need to help out my club to get the education awards. If I want to learn to speak to people, to become a good salesperson, to market the club, and to convince people, I would probably work on building up the club's membership. And also remember, building up the club's membership has the added advantage of us bringing more members and therefore a wider range of thinking into the club, wider, newer ideas, newer, fresh blood, and all of that always builds into the club's overall atmosphere. And then think about it. If we want to be good leaders, if we want to learn the rudiments of leadership, we need to attend the district-sponsored training program. And of course, if we wish to be proper organizers, properly organized administrators, we need to follow the system of administering our club one by one. And of course, this only covers one aspect, only the membership payment. But just imagine, we are in the expo and we run the club in a systematic basis. We will learn to be better administrators. So whatever we practice over here, we could go and apply it at work, we could go and apply it in school, we could apply it at home. So this is how our individual goals will get somehow benefited by following the DCP program, my dear friends. So regardless of what brought us into Toastmasters, if we were to contribute towards our club's DCP goals, rest assured our personal goals also will be taken care of. Now, this is one reason why I somehow make sure that I attend every single meeting of my club. I cannot remember a time or date in which I have skipped a club meeting unless I am really sick, or somebody in my family is really sick, or my boss has caught me and tied me to a pillar at office. Unless these 3 situations have happened, I would never miss a club meeting. Whether I'm doing a speech or not, whether I'm playing a role or not, even if I have nothing to do, I would attend club meetings simply because just being there, watching other people speak, watching membership grow, listening to my leaders come back and use their training, watching at the way the club is administered, I learn a lot of things. And that is how I achieve my personal goals in the club, whilst helping it achieve its DCP goals. Now let's move on, and here, please recollect what you jotted down in the chat box, and if you have actually jotted it down independently and separately, just think of how you could bring that in. Now let's move on. The chat is kind of coming in the way. One big personal goal that all Toastmasters have is to become a DTM, a Distinguished Toastmaster. And this path to Distinguished Toastmaster is a slightly long and challenging path, but a very rewarding path. This extract, what you can see is what is available on the Toastmasters website. Now, of course, you can't see it. It's very small. So I, being the nice, generous type, tried to expand on it, but even this one looked a bit small. Then I realized it's only that part that's important. So maybe we can just get rid of all the clutter, and I just made it slightly bigger. So there you go. That's the part that's really important. We need to do all of these roles in order to be a distinguished Toastmaster. Well and good. If you look at it, my dear friends, and I will quickly run through this because it's the same thing, each of these segments is going to help us achieve a certain personal goal that we have, whilst at the same time helping the club also achieve its own DCPs. Let me, for instance, take this. This is education. This is where our speeches come in, where we select a path and go through the 5 levels and complete all of that. And then we select a second path and we go through those 5 levels and complete all of those. This comes under education. And us doing these speeches and contribute and getting our personal goals achieved will also help the club get the education goals, the 6 points that is there in the DCP. Let me also take one other example. Say, for instance, let's take this here. Club sponsorship, youth leadership, or the Speechcraft program. This, my dear friends, is a brilliant way of building membership. If you have a Speechcraft program, a successful one, you're going to convince a lot of people that there is value in the Toastmasters program, and therefore you may help in build the membership of your club. So there you go, membership, 2 points already done. Then if you look at club leadership, people will be leaders, people will serve the club, but at the same time, they will help get the training points for you. And of course, all of these together will help with the administration as well. And while we go through this, we also make sure that we achieve our personal objective of being able to speak without fear, getting rid of stage fright, being better leaders, better communicators, able to use the virtual screen as competently as they're using the physical screen as well. And at the end, hopefully getting that coveted Distinguished Toastmaster award as well. Now, friends, all of this has been summarized into this beautiful slide, which I'm happy to share with anybody who would need it. And I just took this from a DTM named Mark Snow, who's from District 69. He was kind enough to put this out for public use, and he has said, please go ahead and use it. But if I use other people's work, I must give due credit to them, and that's exactly what I am doing. Thank you, DTM Mark Snow. I actually added him on my Facebook, and I sent him a personal thank you note as well, and he was very appreciative of it. Please feel free to let me know if you would like to take this. This is a one-shot snapshot of the path to DTM. Now, that takes me back, and I know my time is getting close. That takes me back to the title. Why did I say don't be Messi? Did I mean don't be Messi, don't be Lionel Messi, or did I not mean that? Or perhaps did I mean something else? Ladies and gentlemen, I probably should have said don't be Messi, not the name, but this word with Y at the end. And why do I say this? And I dare say this. If we are organized, if we know what our personal goals are, we will be able to achieve those personal goals and at the same time help the club achieve its DCP objectives as well. Now let us go back to our good friend Lionel Messi. Why did he become a great football player? Because he did what was good for him and he also served the teams that he played for. Argentina, his national team. He played for Barcelona, I know, and today he's playing for Paris Saint-Germain, and so on. He does what's good for him and for his club. The same way, my dear friends, if we also do what's good for us, our personal goals, and do what's good for our respective clubs, we can certainly be like Messi. In fact, we can be like Messi, we can be like Ronaldo, we can be like anybody. Look at me. I know I can play football, but the main team that I went and tried to play football for was the Toastmasters friendly gathering that we had once in Isa Town somewhere. And if you ask DTM Khalid Abdullah, he'll know that I am a reasonably good player, but the world doesn't know Farhaz Farouk as a football player. That's because Farhaz Farouk played football for himself, but not for his club. But Farhaz Farouk is a reasonably good Toastmaster who does what's good for him and for his respective Toastmasters clubs. I call upon every single one of you, please be like Messi, be like Ronaldo, do what's good for you and do what's good for your respective clubs. That's the best way for you to achieve what you want and help the club as well do what is best in its. And if you do that, my dear friends, believe me, the day is not too far when you can be holding a coveted trophy yourself and on behalf of your club. Madam Toastmaster, would you like to win this cup? Back to you.
Thank you so much for the manipulation with the word Messi, which I thought that you may mean Messi without having the goals in our life. Thank you so much for the wonderful enlightenment for our goals and how it should be going along with the club goals. So please accept our certificate of appreciation. DTM Farhaz Farouk.
Thank you. I don't see it, but I will accept it anyway. Oh, there you go. It's there.
I know.
Thank you so much. Thank you to DTM Seham. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, all the keynote speakers. It was a wonderful event, really, and it wasn't be successful without you. And now we reach the last session, which is question and answer session. I know that we are behind the schedule. So if you don't mind, it was going to be 15 minutes. So we'll make it only 10 minutes, if you don't mind. So if any question for the three speakers, please raise your hand in order to take them one by one.
I would request all the speakers to please open your video so I can pin you on the screen.
I have first raising hand, Zizo Abdullah, I guess.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Thank you for this amazing workshop, first of all.
Thank you for attendance.
Second of all, my question is about preparing the speech. So the thing is, today I've submitted my fourth speech, and it felt different, really different from the first one. The first two, I wrote like a speech, a complete speech, but then when I came to the stage, it was really disturbing. Like the feeling was really stressful. I was trying to remember all the words I've written. And then, but during the last one, I used just the main ideas and then I went for it. You know, I've practiced like just 4 times. And actually today was really the best among all of them. So what's your advice? Shall I write it word per word and memorize it? Or shall I just let it be spontaneous? So this is where I need your expertise. And thank you so much.
Yes. And whom you are addressing your question to? We have the 3 note speakers. Zizo?
I think
DTM Seham, if you
Yes, to the speaker before the last one, I don't remember her name.
DTM Nancy, you mean?
Yes, I think yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Over to you, DTM Nancy.
for your question. Toastmaster Zizo, you literally just spoke about my own experience. So I think you're a natural, okay? Even for me, when I write it word to word, I go up there and I forget the words that I've written and I speak naturally. So the technique that I use, which would also be there, might be helpful for you as well, is to just write down the main points and make sure that you cover these points within the time frame given. I've shared your same experience, so I literally understand. Now, this is for a club meeting, but when you are going to go up on the big stage for your contest, I would thoroughly, thoroughly recommend write down every single word, practice, practice, and practice until it just flows, until you even say your speech in your dreams. That's how you do for a contest. But for a club level, go with the flow, write your points, go with the flow. You're a natural. Back to you, Toastmaster Sihan.
Thank you very, very much. And now let's move on with Hur, because you said your
Yes.
question and I interrupted.
Yes. I'm sorry I did that. Well,
No, it's
I
okay,
have two questions, one for Toastmaster Nancy and one for Toastmaster Farhaz. Do you want me to repeat the question that I said before?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
My question was about giving an evaluation. I capture I am an analytical character and I capture a lot of things and I want to give a fruitful and objective evaluation. But I think this is too much stress and there is not so much time. So I take the 3-2-1 method. And then is it nice and adequate to tell the person I'm evaluating, let's take it later after the evaluation, or this is kind of embarrassing, or I don't know. I don't see it. I need your point of view about it. What do you think?
Toastmaster, what the question that you posed is a very, very common scenario which all of us fall into a couple of times. So since you're asking for my opinion, how I would do it is I might have a lot of observations. I might have written down a lot of them, but I will only pick maybe 2 or 3 that I know that the speaker can implement. Now, I do this because, and I speak about this because I want to leave the speaker feeling motivated, feeling that he did a great job and that he can do a better job. Now, it's okay for you to write it down. I think in the recent evaluation forms, you have this to take your first speech further, you could. There is that column as well where you write these additional points. Now again, it's your choice. Study your speaker. If your speaker is open to it, write it down. But I wouldn't recommend, taking and calling to the speaker after the meeting. Write it down, and the speaker is going to see it when you send the evaluation form. And if the speaker is genuinely interested, trust me, they will contact you. They will call you back. So to sum it up, I would recommend you only say 3 to 4 points that you know that the speaker can change quickly and easily without much effort. Write down the rest of them to take your speech further effect that once. Wait for the speaker to contact you back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have another question. Is it possible? Okay, for Toastmaster Farhaz, we just became to District 20 recently, Alexandria Toastmaster Club Egypt, and we got the first training before we became district. How can we recognize these points for the first training we took before becoming district?
Okay, so first of all, congratulations Toastmaster Farouk for yourself and all the Toastmasters of Alex Toastmasters for joining. What I can tell you is if I was in your position, I'm going to call our district PQD every single day until the credit is given. This is the only solution that you have. You got to keep banging on his door until this is sorted out. Because if you have got this prior to getting yourself chartered, then there has to be some mechanism in which it can come in. But if it is like a long time coming, as in the training took place and then the club got established many months later, then of course it's a bit of a stretch. But I would assume if it's just a few weeks here and there might be some possibility that the district officials can do something in your favor. But you got to ask DTM Khalid Abdullah that he has to sort it out for you, and that's what I would. I will be happy to follow up on your behalf also if you want to.
Thank you. I didn't ask him yet. I didn't know what was the process.
Laughing.
Thank you.
But that's probably the thing. But again, as long as there's a reasonable amount of time between the training and the time the club got started. But if it is too long a time, then of course, just let it slide. It's just the first year. Nobody will really worry about it. And then from the next year, you work on all the 10. there are sometimes some clubs that are formed just literally 2 weeks before the end of the year. And in this case, that club may just have 1 or 2 points by the end of the year. So that's the way it is, and that's a normal life cycle of a club. So usually you could ignore that and just look at it from the first full year. So don't worry about it too much. You guys are doing very well, so just continue doing the great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And please allow me to recognize the presence of one of our dignitaries, the International Director, DTM Ali Shabaz Ali. He didn't say anything till the end. Please put your hands together to hear from our International Director, DTM Ali. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Division Director Siham. I see our PQD, Khalid Abdallah, and other officials. I wanted to take the back seat. Sorry I couldn't join since the beginning, but I will watch the recording. Happy to be here, and whenever I see new membership orientation program, I just remember my days 18 years back from now and how it all started. We used to have hard copies, and it was we had less opportunities to share ideas because we didn't have Zoom that time. So definitely enjoy this environment. Thanks to division and district who organized this. And there are great presenters here. Let me tell you, I see speakers from around the world. The speakers you have today, the presenters, they are one of the best. And squeeze as much as from them you can today, all the informations. Take out all the juice because you might not find them easily. Thank you very much. Over to you, Madam Division Director.
Thank you very much, our International Director, DTM Ali Shabaz Ali, for your inspiring and lovely words as usual. Thank you so much. Pardon me, but DTM Morally has a question while TM Dana was presenting her workshop. So please let me first take his question, then I'll move on to one by one. Thank you so much.
Great DTM DHT. I was just commenting about the voice. There are some people, when they speak, their age cannot be determined. As she is from Sri Lanka, there is a person called Abdul Hamid, a very famous international anchor, radio jockey. If he speaks, nobody can identify his age. I am very closely, he's my very close friend. The best portion is with the voice. If you really train, this is what I wanted to find out from her, whether voice and age can be correlated or not. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much.
Definitely, Anandata, I truly agree to what you're saying. There is a correlation because the quality of your voice really drops as you age, unless it's a natural process because it will depend from person to person. But if you really want to do maintain that quality, you need to work on it. You need to work on the diaphragm muscles. You need to do the voice, the vocal variety activities, the exercises. So that is because since it depends from person to person, some people could be lucky enough to retain the same quality, but that cannot be guaranteed to every single person. So might as well not take a risk, just put in a little bit of effort and then focus on a bit of improvement in terms of your voice. As I just said, maybe 2 minutes per day is more than enough. If you work with consistency, you can have tremendous results. So the answer in summation is that it depends from person to person. But if you do not want to take the risk of lowering the quality of your voice, you need to work on it.
Thank you so much, TM Dana. And please, I would request our beautiful and handsome presenters for today to put their contact numbers, please, in the chat box for further questions in order to be answered, or if the audience wanted to communicate with them. And there is also a reminder that DTM Khalid Abdullah, our PQD, is putting his contact number for anyone who wants to ask or have any inquiry about anything. I saw DTM Suresh Babu raising his hand for a long time. So please let us take his question and end up with it, because we are 23 minutes behind the schedule. And I know that all of you have.
Good evening, DSD, DTM Siham. Thank you so much. Let me thank all the presenters for their wonderful presentations today. Really, they have enlightened the whole audience. My question goes to DTM Nancy. This is regarding evaluation. No, there are situations, see, your evaluation depends on the test speaker, especially during contests. If the test speaker is too good, almost flawless, wonderful speaker, we don't know what to recommend. So in that situation, what one should look for?
Now, if your test speaker is too good, which almost happens in every district competition, forget the district, the club level, the area, the division, they bring the best of the best, putting all of us evaluators at a risk. So this is when your evaluation skills has to be peaked to the extreme level. This is where you note down every little thing. And again, like I kept reiterating, whatever I said is not exactly what you put into a contest. At a contest, you got to give your best analytical quality. At the same time, keeping that thin line of balance where your tips are something that is unique. Your tips are not the tips that other evaluators will give, and that your tips can be incorporated. Okay, so catch something like, if you notice people speak in general, they will have a rhythm. They will have a rhythm and a pause, something like that. Catch that. For example, you can say you have a 3-word pause rhythm. No one's going to say that. At a contest, when a speaker is too good, go for the minute details, but don't go for two extremes. Strike a balance between what is doable and what keeps you unique. Go give it to your all. If you win, you win. If you lose, well, there's always a next time, isn't there? Thank you, Toastmaster Suresh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And now let's move on to our word of appreciation. And actually, my appreciation to all the presenters, to all the audience, you really made my day today. I felt that I did nothing. I was rewarded enough by your responses, by your enthusiasm. Thank you so much. And now, please, our moderator, can we show the certificates for the role players? Thank you, organizers. And our first certificate goes to DTM Tagharit Kanti. And Tagharit Kanti is the one who collected all the role players. Thank you so much, my dear Tagharit, who always works in silence. Thank you so much for your wonderful effort and a great job. Next, we are moving on to our DH director, the one that always supported me since I started to be a division director. He always offers me, come on, Sam, if you have anything related to the division, whatever data you want, whatever presentation you want, I'm here, just contact me. Thank you so much for being our moderator and our protector today to have such a wonderful and smoothly event. Thank you so much. DTM Thank you so much, Ali. Thank you so much. And with my PR team, yes, he is one, but he represents 100. Mohammed Shiraz, my Area 31 director, is really the right hand in all the events. Thank you so much, Mohammed Shiraz, for all the wonderful job you did for this event. Thank you. Please accept the certificate of appreciation. Next, our guard for today, the one who set the place and the scene, our sergeant at arms, a dear friend, and the one who never says no. Whenever I need him, he comes. Even if he doesn't come, he brings someone else. Thank you so much, TM Suhan Abdul Manaf. Accept our certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much. And now with one of the people I really love when she become a timer. She's always keeping us on track. Always remind us, I believe that she is more accurate than the watch itself. And she's always supportive for the division H, as she is the quality growth for the division H. Thank you so much, Farisa Hassan, for your wonderful performance and your commitment to our division. Thank you so much. Accept the certificate of appreciation. So now I believe that we reached the end. Thank you, moderator. Oh no, forget
And
about
now we have DTM Seham, who has put together all the efforts to gather all of us here for this wonderful evening. And we have learned a lot. Thank you so much, our Division Head Director, DTM Seham. A big round of applause for DTM Seham.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Just stay and you can switch on your cameras. We will have a group photo.
And please bring those people who left. You can stop sharing, Faisal. Happy to see after a very long time our international director, His Excellency DTM Ali Shabazz Ali, DTM.